The war in Iran is printing millionaires like nothing else. Those who are paying attention, those who know what exactly is happening, those who know how to take advantage out of it and are making a fortune. War is bad. We don't wish a war, but the war is happening whether you like it or not. And millions of dollars, billions of dollars will be made whether you like it or not. The question is, are you going to use this opportunity to make this money, or you're simply going to let this crisis go to waste? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can make a ton of money out of this war. And this is not going to make you a bad person, because this is happening regardless. And you're not making money because you're wishing war, but it's already happening. The biggest winners of the war in Iran are the people who are actually trading oil. Trading oil might seem very complicated because you're sitting in the comfort of your house and you're thinking, how on earth am I going to profit from oil? I don't have an oil company, I don't refine oil, but you don't need all of that. If you pay a very close attention to this video, you will learn how you can profit from the war in Iran by trading oil as long as you have access to your smartphone. Before the war started back in December, the President of the United States ordered to capture the President of Venezuela. And that's when oil prices spiked from $55 to about $60. Venezuela is one of the largest, who has one of the largest oil reserves in the world. And if there is going to be chaos in that country, that is certainly going to create some shortage of oil in the market, which is why oil prices spiked. But it wasn't a huge spike. Why? Because Venezuela isn't one of the largest oil producers. The war starts on 28th of February 2025. Right after that, oil prices spiked from $65 up to $100 in such a short period of time, for a very specific reason. Iran is one of the largest oil producers in the world, and it instantly creates a shortage. And prices literally stay around there. The next thing that Iran announces that we're going to block the Strait of Hormuz. This is when a quarter of the entire global supply of oil passes. If the market realizes that now we are going to have a shortage of oil because that strait is closed, what do you think happens next? Oil prices shoot to 120, and I think at certain points they have even reached $140. But that doesn't actually last long, because on 8th of April, they announced some kind of a ceasefire, that the US and Iran are not interested in fighting, and there might be a diplomatic solution between the two nations. What do you think that creates? What kind of expectations that creates in the market? Obviously, that calms the market down, and suddenly the market is like, there is going to be an oversupply of oil in the market. So nobody pays so much for oil, and oil prices go down. But in June, they even signed a memorandum of understanding, despite that they have been bombing each other throughout this period. Memorandum of understanding wasn't the final peace agreement, but it was a very important step, where the United States would actually stop bombing Iran, and Iran will open the Strait of Hormuz. When ships are crossing the Strait of Hormuz, again, there is an oversupply of oil in the market, and you can expect oil prices to come down, which is exactly what they did, because the market was expecting that the war is over. They have even came down to as much as they have been before the war has even started. But that did not last long, because the war restarted. America started bombing Iran again, and Iran started threatening that they will close Bab el-Mandeb, which is literally the second important choke point right after the Strait of Hormuz. If you close that one, certainly that is going to create a much bigger oil crisis than you can possibly imagine. And now the war is going on, which is why oil prices are at about $80. The question you should be asking yourself is that who exactly is profiting from this war? On one side, there is no doubt that people who are actually running oil companies are making a lot of money. You had a product, the price in the market was $60, today it's $120. It's not a surprise that you're making a ton of money. If you have an oil refinery, you're also making a lot of money because now the cost of, you can charge a lot more for refining the exact same oil. Or maybe your oil company that extracts oil and refines it is the exact same company. But here is the assumption that I can certainly make, that most of you watching this video, you don't have a company that extracts oil in the Middle East. You don't have an oil company that extracts oil in America, in Canada, or anywhere else in the world. But I can also make an assumption that you can also refine the oil because you don't have that infrastructure. So why are you telling me this? But what if I told you that these are not the only winners of this war? Yes, they're making a lot of money. There is no question about it. The financial statements of these companies prove that. On the other side, there are people in suits and ties sitting on Wall Street and are also making a lot of money despite the fact that they have never seen a barrel of oil in their entire lives. And this is not an exaggeration. How these people are making so much money? We call them oil traders. Because the oil market isn't set the way that most people imagine. Most people think that there is somebody who is extracting oil, then there's somebody who is buying that oil, and that's the end of the story. No. Oil is a very different commodity compared to other commodities. There's two things that we know about oil. Number one, we know that there is always demand for it. And how do we know that? Because everything runs on oil. You're sitting in your house and then you're pulling your phone and you're ordering something from Amazon or Walmart. For that thing to arrive there, all that infrastructure runs on oil. The cargo ships that drives them, the factories that manufactures them, the trucks that are getting them to that warehouse, the last minivan or a van that takes that thing and brings it to you, and the entire infrastructure. So there is always demand for oil. The planes that you take to fly around the country or around the world, all of them are running on oil. So in order to make that infrastructure as efficient as possible, here's what we have created. Imagine on one side we have somebody, a buyer of oil, on the other side, a seller of oil. Between the time that somebody who is going to sell that oil, this seller has to extract that oil from the ground, then have to refine it, and then have to send it on a cargo ship. And that will take months. So this seller has to ensure that the buyer is actually going to pay him. That's the first thing. Second thing, what is going to be the price when that thing will be done? What if by the time that will happen, the price of oil are going to change? What if you no longer need that oil 3 months from now? What if they tank? Why would I waste so much money doing all this hard work only to realize 3 months later that you're not ready to pay for this oil? So what if me and you, we sit down and we sign a contract? And we're going to call that contract a future contract. That contract will essentially say that I will buy a certain amount of oil at this specific price within this time frame. So that is the contract. So as long as I'm holding this contract, I have to fulfill this contract. But the people in Wall Street came out with a brilliant strategy. If you're holding that contract, you can essentially sell that contract. So let's call it a futures. You probably have heard about the word futures. This is the contract. And even though that I'm the one who signed the contract, I can sell this contract to my neighbor. What if I'm going to close down my factory, or I'm going to close down my airline, or I don't simply need that oil, and I will sell it to my neighbor who needs that contract or that oil much more. And now my neighbor is going to receive that oil. It's going to come up from the Middle East or Canada or any other part of the world, and he will pay for it. But I've paid for oil $60 a barrel. Now there is a shortage of oil in the market, and people are willing to pay more for it. So essentially, even though that I paid $60 for this oil, I can sell it to my neighbor for $100. And that's what oil prices are in the market. These are not between the buyers and sellers. These are the contracts that have already been signed, and people are trading them in the market between one another based on their expectations about what is going to happen in the oil market tomorrow. So they also have signed these contracts, for example, in January, where oil prices were about $55 and $60. By March, there was a war, so oil prices have increased dramatically. So what the people in Wall Street do is that they're not actually drilling oil or extracting the oil or refining the oil. They're looking at the market and they're like, what is going to happen to the oil market? They understand the largest players in the market. They understand that Iran is one of the largest suppliers of oil and Middle East is one of the largest suppliers of oil. So a war there means a shortage, which means that oil prices will certainly rise and we can sell these contracts to someone else for a much higher price. Buyers pay more or less for future contracts based on what they expect is going to happen in the future. So current oil prices aren't prices of today. These are buyers' expectations about what will happen in the future. So essentially, the entire oil market is literally the largest betting market in the world. Everybody is simply betting on the price of oil. But in this case, it's much easier to predict because you understand the largest players, you understand the largest buyers, you understand what is happening, and it's very, very easy to predict whether there is going to be a shortage or no shortage in the market. And based on that, you simply put your decision. And that's why you can literally take, let's say $10,000, and as long as you understand the market, you put the $10,000, you turn it into $100,000, $100,000 into $1 million. So these people are there who are actually trading with much larger sums of money, with billions of dollars, are literally making money out of thin air while there is a war going on the other part of the world. And the bigger this war gets, the bigger headlines are there in the news, the more panic it creates in the market, and the more these people win, even though that they have never purchased a single barrel of oil in the market. And you can do this as well as long as you have access to your smartphone and you understand the oil market. This is why this war is so important. So ask yourself why the war in Iran has led to higher oil prices. Number one, Iran is one of the largest oil producers in the world, which means that if we bomb Iran, Iran will not be able to extract that oil because they're in the middle of a war and you're literally bombing them from the skies. How are you going to extract that oil? Or if you're putting a blockade, that oil cannot leave the country, there is a shortage of oil, which means that oil prices rise. Secondly, Iran can close the Strait of Hormuz. Again, we have talked about that because most of that oil goes through the strait. Not just Iranian oil, but the Saudi Arabian oil, the UAE's oil, the Qatar's oil, the entire region's oil. And thirdly, Iran can attack refineries across the region, which means that even if they try to extract it some way or another and we bomb them, that oil will be destroyed in that place. Again, creating a shortage of oil in the market. So while the world is suffering, they're making billions of dollars. But this is not the first time this is happening. Look at oil prices over the last 10 years. What do you see? You see continuous fluctuations. One day it's up, the other day is down, one day is up, and so on and so forth. And every single time there are fluctuations, what is happening? Someone is making a lot of money. It's as simple as that. And understanding the oil market is probably much easier than anything else in the world. Let me show you. So back in early 2020, the pandemic broke out. Now ask yourself, what is the sequence of events that will happen when the pandemic breaks out? Countries closing borders. If countries are closing borders, planes are not flying. That means that these planes will no longer be buying fuel. And if they're not buying fuel, there is no demand for oil. If there is no demand for oil, less people are buying oil, which means that those who have purchased all of these future contracts a month ago, they won't be able to sell it, which means that everybody is now selling the future contracts, but very few people are buying them, which means that oil prices collapse. It's as simple as that. But we know that that's not the end of the world. Yes, the headlines in the news is exaggerated that this is the end of the world, but let's be honest, this is not the end of the world. The world has survived World War II. No matter how big the crisis is, the media always exaggerates the crisis. So, what do you think Wall Street has done? They have purchased a lot of oil here. What happens 2 months later, or a month even later, or a few days later? Oil prices recover. They sell it for a much larger margins, making billions of dollars. I mean, if you're trading with a smaller amount, you're probably going to make just millions of dollars, but nonetheless, that's still very good news. And then we realized that we have to go back to office. That means that now everybody has to pick up his car and drive. And when you drive your car, you have to buy gasoline. And you have to buy gasoline. That means that demand for oil rises. So oil prices slowly start to recover. But nonetheless, you can see those fluctuations. Even these tiny fluctuations are opportunities for people to make millions of dollars. And then 2020, Ukraine war happens. Suddenly, America sanctions Russia. Now, what is so special about Russia when it comes to oil? It turns out that Russia is one of the largest suppliers of oil in the market. So if you sanction about 10 or 15% of the global supply of oil, what do you think happens? Now, the world can't buy that oil. That means that you have to buy that oil from somewhere else. And if it doesn't exist somewhere else, now people are going to overpay for that someone else's oil to buy it because everybody wants to buy it. Imagine you have an airline and I have an airline. And now there is a shortage of oil. You try to buy that oil and I try to buy that oil. Because if you don't buy it, you will lose the clients because your planes won't be able to fly. So you're fighting for that smaller amount of oil in the market, so prices instantly rise. So you can see that oil prices dramatically rise to about $120 again because one of the largest oil suppliers in the market is now being sanctioned. But again, as time goes by, the market adapts, or maybe that oil is being sold in some shady way, and it still hits the international market, and oil prices start going down because the market realizes that it is not the end of the world again. And that happened continuously. As you're watching this video, every single time there is crisis or mini crises, there are fluctuations. Every single fluctuation is an opportunity to profit from it. But you can only profit from this if you understand how the market works, what leads to these fluctuations, and why these fluctuations are very consistent. You don't have to be a genius to understand basic economics, supply and demand. So over the last 6 months, since this war has started, people have made more money than you can possibly imagine simply because they understood how oil prices work. And if you have been part of the Investing Academy, you would have also known this and you would have also made a lot of money. I don't want to tell you that you have missed the opportunity and it's over. Whether you like it or not, the oil market isn't going anywhere. Oil prices will continue fluctuating consistently. And that means that if you right now learn how to trade oil, how to understand the market, moving forward, as this war continues, there are still opportunities. Let me tell you how. Tomorrow, again, the US could announce that we have reached to some kind of a deal with Iran. What happens to oil prices? They instantly go down probably to $60, maybe $50. Or maybe there's going to be news that Russia will no longer sanction, or America will no longer sanction the Russian oil. That market or that oil hits the market, suddenly there is an oversupply. And then 3 months later, Trump announces that we're going to start a ground invasion with Iran, which means that oil prices are going to spike back. So the opportunity is already waiting for you. I'm already telling you what is most likely going to happen, but you have to watch this very carefully. That's the first thing. But secondly, which is even more important, you have to be ready. So if you want a step-by-step instruction of how the market works and how to do this, if you want to be the first to know when I will be buying oil again and I will be selling it, join the Investing Academy now. The link is in the description.